Alright, hello everyone. We are currently in the thick of things, so if you guys are in a weird spot tonight, it's because I got a whole bunch of junk to do. Y'all are actually you're sitting on top of a whole stack of books right now, and I'm being very conscious of what is in frame so no one accidentally gets doxxed, but otherwise, here we are to do a little bit of a Q&A again, doing our thing, coming at you live from, at the moment. Oh my god.
Okay, I made it.
Oh. Hello. I'm like not even halfway through. I'm gonna fucking shoot myself. Woo.
You're gonna do fine. You can do it.
Almost halfway through, but not halfway through. Also, only one of my headphones is fucking on. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Try again.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. Yes.
Good. Both
Working.
Now where did I? There it is.
The headphone keeps beeping. There we go. Okay. So, Jesus Christ, Hannah, I didn't think I had to do this because usually I just go to the post office with like the one book people buy a quarter and just have them print the sticker for me. But I'm like, oh, I'll just print them out myself. Well, I have an HP printer, which means it runs out of ink fucking instantly. So that was fun. Emergency trip to get another one. But then I gotta tape them all down now. This is really annoying.
No. Oh my, yeah, I used to do that. That was how I did my shipping labels with my orders. And I finally got a thermal printer. I got it for like $80 on Amazon. And you don't need ink. And every time you have to buy the paper, you can get 1,000 for like $9.
Damn. See, this is why I'm just like, rookie mistakes I'm making out here.
It's okay. You got another book coming out in March. And for that one, you can get a thermal printer.
Literally, like, I was sitting here, like, chill, because, like, with the Glass Switch, it was only, like, 30 bucks, so I was like, yeah, whatever, it won't be that bad. Then I held up Where the Gods Left Off, and, like, everyone went fucking feral, so I was like, oh, shit. Oh, no. I am one individual, and I'm crying. Where the fuck are my scissors?
I say that to myself 17 times a day. Where the fuck
I have
are
scissors
my
right here,
scissors?
Sarah. Do you want them? They're right here.
Oh, no, I found mine. I got him. Hello.
Okay, cool.
But,
I'll have to mail them
I
too.
I think maybe just so
Mimi's
this is
in
gonna
the
be
chat if you want to add her
Oh,
into
shit.
Beep.
here.
Beep. Alright, good.
I noticed that like a solid 2 minutes ago too, and I didn't say anything, so I was like, kind of like,
Fuck.
what's going
Sorry,
on?
Mimi. I was too busy looking
Sorry,
for my
Mimi.
scissors. Also, my carpet is dark and this black crinkle paper blends in, so I keep just wanting to die. But, are these fun? I put these on Canva, like the little like thank you notes and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Very good. Very good.
What are you doing, Kat?
Oh, being
But now I have no printer ink. Haha.
You're gonna do great.
I still have to finish like the interpretations for all of the ebook orders. But at least those are just an email, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
What like are you like doing like a tarot reading with an ebook order of your book or something?
Yeah. So the way it works, right, is like this just has like a single person. So like the front side has like the dice roll, like which thing you should start with, and then the back
Oh,
is like a tarot card with the
oh, that's
like the
sick.
booklet, and then my idea. It's fun. I enjoy
Interesting.
it. I found the like PNG files of all of the Rider-Waite tarot cards, so I could just like
Yeah.
put them over anything. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
They have a bunch of them. You can get them in like the pink colors or like,
Yeah. I
Oh,
liked the like transparent black and white because it meant I could put them on literally anything.
Yeah.
It's good. Oh my god, these boxes.
So for the folks watching, we're just kind of doing another Q&A tonight. So if you have questions about Christian witchcraft, Christian paganism, Sarah's book, all the other good stuff, send them in.
I feel bad because people are probably going to be like, why is
oh,
the print
wow.
one suddenly unavailable? I'm going to be like, because I have
That's
4
a thing.
left, and I'm probably going to be up until 3 a.m. packing the ones as it is.
Jesus Christmas.
I still have to do my lesson plan for the students, too. Fuck. Oh well.
I
did
can't
this to him
stay
on
up that
Friday.
late
Rolled
anymore,
with
and
it.
it's upsetting.
No,
God doesn't
I
support
don't usually.
pilgrims.
But sometimes like the sheer anxiety and stress will keep me going.
Yeah,
You
I
ever
could
read
run
the
on
actual
anxiety if I
Bible?
had to.
What do you? Okay, you could. I run on anxiety. That's literally like what makes
Yeah,
Have
the
you
there's no
never read
typical.
the
advantage to this.
Bible?
Well,
Yes, we've
Oh
read the Bible a
no,
lot. That's why
I
we're
can't.
pagans, is because we've read the Bible.
I can't tell if Heidi like means that to be like mean. I don't. I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt and say she doesn't mean it to be mean.
I think
Would
that
you do
I
that?
think that this person does because they have a cross profile picture, and that just seems
Oh
like a
fuck.
red flag. Sorry to judge.
You
You
read your
know,
kids' horoscopes every day?
no, I don't. I never read my children's horoscopes, to be very honest.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Heidi, it's a fucking Tuesday night, dude. There's no reason to come in here and be a
I
dick.
love the Holy
the Holy
Spirit. Her name
Spirit,
is
you don't.
Sophia.
I love that so much because you know how like witchy the Holy Spirit
You
is.
know what?
The
You know
Holy
what? Don't you
Spirit's
have a
uncanny
rapture?
as
So,
hell.
No,
I
no,
love
no.
her.
Don't you have a rapture to go get ready
Right,
for?
the
Go take a
rapture
shower
is
or
supposed to
something.
yeah,
Go.
isn't
happen
it like
tonight,
coming like in like
guys.
3 days or
No,
something?
Okay,
it's
holy
tonight
So,
at
shit.
midnight. It's tonight at
We
midnight.
oh,
all
really? Tonight at midnight? Oh, thank God! I don't gotta go through labor again. I'll take it. You know?
we
Go
all
get ready
sound
for
like a
your
bunch
rapture,
of hens
Heidi.
clucking in here.
Stop harassing us.
Um, so yeah, I told Roman. I was like, Roman, the rapture is supposed to happen. He's like, wasn't that supposed to happen 11 years ago, and then also 15 years ago, and then also 20 years ago, and I'm like, yeah, well, this time they got it. This time, you'll just see half the people deleted. It's fine.
Oh yeah.
Like
Have you
Thanos.
guys ever seen that one video that was like the aliens come to the planet 15 years from now and they're like, whoa, you guys advanced so fast. What happened? And they're like, the rapture got rid of all the Christians. We were able to advance.
Are
This
you
is so
serious? Yeah,
the
that's
same.
funny.
This is fucking bad.
So, for that
Yeah,
question,
Heidi, you won't have to, cause like you don't know your own religion. That's okay though. Anyway, so Rue, does the Bible actually say not to believe in other gods, or was it misunderstood? So here's the thing. Here's the thing. That people don't talk about enough that they really should. The Jewish Bible, which Christians kind of fuck around with as the Old Testament, is a specific covenant between God and the Jewish people.
not even the
Like,
full Old Testament.
it's not. Yeah, the Christian Old Testament is like the Spark Notes version of the Jewish Bible. It's all fucked up. It's completely just rearranged and stupid. But God chose the Israelites, the Jewish people, and said, "You're my people, so I want you guys to just look at me and just focus on me. Fuck all this other shit." And everyone else, God was like, "I really could give two fucks what you do because I didn't pick you and I don't care." That's the tea about that.
It's also like you gotta like direct it at a specific group of people who are not you, and like those like really the specific group of people are dead. And you know, when you think about it, the people who would have been writing that text at the time wouldn't have been familiar with a ton of pagan pantheons apart from like the Egyptians and the Canaanite. And, you know, assuming that the Jewish people actually were held in slavery in Egypt, then it would make sense why they might have a bit of a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to the Egyptians. And the Canaanites were literally killing each other. So it was all like practical reasons of God being like, hey, don't get yourself killed. Just stay with me where you'll be safe and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
But like in the
Basically,
year of our Lord 2023, it doesn't quite apply anymore.
the amount of times God has actually like called other spirits in to be like, listen, I don't want to deal with this. You deal with it. Like,
Heidi, you can't even spell the correct there. Slow down.
The other option
right?
is
Oh no.
if you want to use Christian logic with this, honestly, it says specifically that God, you shall have no other gods before him,
Yeah.
not after him. So,
Or alongside,
alongside,
or
like if we're gonna go down this road, yes. Not only that, if he is the creator of all things, and he is also creator of the people who have invented other gods. And if he is so loving and so forgiving, then why is this ethos, why are those people not also loved?
Yeah.
Heidi, who are you? Okay, Heidi's our like fun little
People are
pinata for the
very
night, I guess.
sensitive. Heidi, you're acting really sensitive right now,
I know, Heidi,
sweetheart.
like, no one's offended, dude.
Underneath him, sideways.
That's what I'm saying. Heidi, congratulations. You are tonight's pinata, which means we're gonna have a lot of fun kicking you around. Thank you for volunteering.
You still get a chance to
yeah.
leave. Free will.
I'm just warning you what God says, but, like, you wouldn't know who God is if he came and fucking whapped you upside the head like an angry father. So, like, I don't know, keep it up, babe. You're doing great. You're doing great, sweetie.
You're doing great, sweetie.
I just it baffles my mind that like evangelicals genuinely think that this is what God wants them to do, or like they think that this is like going out and baptizing and making nations. You literally just sound like a fool on the internet. And
Dude,
if
like,
you're
the fuckhead that rolled in a Romans chat, like, had me crying. Oh my god.
I just don't understand it.
Yeah, Sarah just interviewed Astro not too long ago, actually. We love Mom in this chat.
Yes, the Israelites did worship Canaanite deities. They had a little bit of beef with the Canaanite people, but yes, the pantheons did overlap.
I mean, the thing that happened seems to be that God, like, decided, fuck this, I'm gonna make my own spin-off, and,
Pretty
like,
much.
then he did. So, hey, get it, you know? But...
Oh, man, I did this wrong.
Are we all working on our project tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Are we what?
I mentioned oils, and this was supposed to be a Lucifer oil, and I put in Loki ingredients because, of course.
Thanks, Loki.
Hey, what was I thinking of? Oh, the amount of times Valus showed up in these dice rolls has me like, boy, but it's almost his season, so I know he's, like, coming into his power with the winter time, but fuck. Anyway,
speaking of which, we were talking about autumn coming and everything, and Izzy was just like, oh, does this mean the Holly King is finally winning? And I'm like, yes, it is! Oh god, you remember! I was so excited.
Oh, proud mama moment.
Yeah, all my kids care about, they're like, oh, my kids, all they care about, they know that fall's coming, and they're like, oh, we get those, like, cookies now, right? Like, the ones with, like, the pumpkins and stuff. Like, you know, like, the Pillsbury, this shit. We went to Target the other day, and they saw them, and they're like, we have to buy them, it's fall. These ones. Oh, God. Wow, I stacked my fridge so horribly. I also have the ghosts, but they're under the eggs. Pregnancy brain has took over. Like, I just put the boxes of things in here now. I don't take shit out of boxes anymore. I'm just like, screw that.
That's okay.
They can live in a box. It's okay.
Someone asked about working with archangels. Sarah, I believe you work with Michael. How's he?
Basically, if you really enjoy getting your ass kicked, hang out with archangels. Like, there are ones that are really, like, gentle, like Gabriel's more on the gentle side. They will still beat your ass.
I found like Raphael to be on the more gentle side, but although I was working with him in a very specific, like, chronic pain situation, so I don't think he's gonna, like, slap you upside the head for that one. I hope not.
No, Gabriel's fucking the closest thing to a goddamn chaotic being in my life. The way he just fucking pops up out of nowhere like a goddamn daisy out of the snow.
Like, I mean, I don't know. For me, Raphael was, like, very much like, shut the fuck up and pay attention. And I'm like, oh,
thanks for stopping by, Cal.
What was I saying?
Michael and the angels and yeah.
Azrael, I've talked to Azrael. Azrael is fucking crazy. He shows up like super blonde, like pretty boy, but then I'm like, hey, can I see the real you? And I just see eyes and hands grabbing fucking souls off the earth, and I'm like, all right, never mind, put it back. Put it back. I don't want it. Never mind.
I'm so excited for you to talk to Asmodeus.
So I was like debating. I was like, should I? Should I not?
So here's the thing. I know Harry Potter is outdated, but this is the only analogy that I have to describe him. He looks like a young Lucius Malfoy with like the cloak and the long blonde hair.
Yeah.
But then like the quote unquote real him is pretty close to the depictions of like the three heads, and one is a man and one's an animal, and I forget what the other one is. But
oh yeah, there's like the frog and the cat or something.
Something like that, yeah.
So I was gonna say, as far as are you allowed to celebrate, honey, you can celebrate whatever the hell you want as long as it's not from a closed practice. You find what you enjoy and resonate with. Now, I personally, being an Appalachian witch, I do the equinoxes. So we talk about this just the seasons. We don't necessarily call it like the things that are associated with like the neo-paganism side. But the other side of that is I know a lot of people who follow me, and I know a lot of people that I know in my circle do, so I talk about it with them. It's not that I didn't, study Wicca for 3-4 years, so it's not like I don't know anything about it. It just wasn't my path. But there's also, if you feel icky about it, Sarah and I are writing the corresponding wheel of the year that the Catholic Church is like, oh, you guys have these festivals? Cool, let me put my Jesus on it.
Yeah, actually, speaking of which, that's a great time to mention. For anyone who wants a more Christian bend on the autumn equinox, your options are St. Matthew's Day, which is actually like on the 21st, or St. Michael's, like Michaelmas, which is the 29th. Yeah.
Michaelmas is cool. We celebrate that because we do Waldorf schooling, so we do Michaelmas, which I have to kind of tweak it a little bit because it talks about slaying the dragon, and then dragon is a euphemism for Lucifer, and I'm just like, we're just gonna slay our personal dragons, our big things that we don't like. That's what we're gonna do.
That's such good, that's a good way to tweak it, though, especially for the kiddos.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys, that the tape is loud. I can't stop working because, oh god, the amount of boxes that still need to be filled.
Yeah, whatchamacallit, I mean, like, in the Bible, it talks a lot about celebrating and how, like, it's important to celebrate life and, like, celebrate the different phases of life. And if you look at, like, the Jewish religion and how many different holidays they have, they literally just had Rosh Hashanah, and now they're having Yom Kippur next week. So, if you're following, like, the real, like, tradition of God or whatever, like, or what, like, whatever terminology that's correct you want to put there, it, we're being taught to celebrate. And within the Christian church, I don't know why that, like, celebration was lost, because we only really have, like, Christmas and Easter. So, I don't know. I think that...
Yeah.
Sarah's like, I'm stressed about that.
So, as a separation between...
I gotta pause, hold on.
Go, Sarah.
Because I want to say, I think Christianity lost it because our holidays are narrative based, like they follow the story of Jesus, whereas like, But anyway, sorry, maybe you can...
Yeah, but like that's also like doesn't make sense to me though, because like Easter, the way that it's calculated is witchy as fuck. So like, why are we not, as Christians, like celebrating more? I don't know. There's like a lot of other things you could say. Like, why don't we celebrate like Acts? Like, what happened in that shit?
We kind of do with Pentecost. Some churches still do Pentecost and some don't. But the biggest thing is a lot of the, especially like if we're going to go through the Pentecostal and evangelical side with like the Baptists and things like that, we're going to look at a lot of things who are just like, well, actually what Paul said was this is how we're supposed to be set apart so we can eat our pork. And we can have our cheeseburgers because he said he saw a vision where the things were coming together. Not that it was the people were coming together.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the essential thing was because they did not believe in Jesus, and because Paul was the one teaching everyone and setting up the church, that's who they're following. Most Christians today follow Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And so whatever he is saying and all of the celebrations and everything, because they were still a Jewish people, and so how were they not celebrating these things? So it has taken a lot of perversion and a lot of casting aside of things and a lot of pulling it away. And especially once the Gentiles started coming into the fold and the Jewish people were like, not to speak over Jewish creators, but from extrapolating and my own study through messianicism for conversion, I have found that a lot of people, when you are going to convert, there is a very suspicious mindset of why are you here and what are you trying to do? So the holidays are they are now very closed to the Jewish practice, which I feel is both good and bad because it maintains that relationship with God that they have, because a lot of them are based on the not only being delivered from Egypt, but also the wheel of the year that God has told them to live by. It's like year 5,000 something. I'll have that. But and that's another set apart thing where they, Christians always say we have to be set apart from them, and that's why. Those are the big things. To be set apart and to stop celebrating how God was like, hey, you should celebrate it this way. We have to be set apart because Paul said so.
Yeah, and I guess that also goes from like the whole like, as you were talking about that, I got the verse of like Jesus. I forgot exactly where he says it, but where he talks about like putting away the traditions that our fathers had to like make our own traditions and our own celebrations, sort of thing. So I guess that makes sense too. I don't know. I just like that also like when I was a kid that like never made sense to me. I was like, because I grew up, I'm in New York and there's a big Jewish population here, and specifically where I grew up in New York has a very high Jewish population, and one of my best friends growing up was Orthodox, and I would see how many holidays her family would have, and I'm like, especially in September, I'm like, oh, we're like not in school half the month because, Jewish holidays. Like, I'm like, why do we not in Christianity like celebrate similarly? It didn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Also, we've got a
Oh,
We
new
got another
Speaking of
troll.
convert to
Orthodoxy,
Eastern Orthodoxy.
I love my Orthodox brothers, but why are the Eastern Orthodox Church some of the most annoying fucking people on planet Earth? Holy shit, you guys. You need to fucking relax.
but like my favorite thing about that is like Orthodoxy, like Catholicism, all of that in like the similar name. It's witchcraft light. Like you guys are doing witchcraft without calling it witchcraft.
Literally, like, I don't want to hear a
Amen.
single Orthodox person tell me I can't be a Christian witch when they have fucking bones all over their church. Like, please.
Yeah. Like I'm sorry, like my mom and we were at my grandfather's funeral, her father's funeral, and the two of us are like, they're smoking the body, and the two of us are like, that's not witchcraft. That's not witchcraft. Like we were cackling, and this is her dad's funeral. It's so bad. Like I was making her laugh at her father's funeral, but we're like, what is this? And how like ritualistic it was, and like the spraying of the holy water on everybody. It's like, what the heck, man? It's super
Yeah,
Catholic. I
literally,
mean, it's super,
like,
super witchy.
I grew up Catholic as fuck, and I still have it on my altar with, like, my Oma's very Catholic funeral, and here they are flicking salt at her picture with a juniper branch. Like,
Why we got so many trolls in the chat tonight? What is happening?
I don't know,
I
man.
like
I was
them.
about to say,
Is it because you stitched that one guy?
Sarah, what did you
Okay.
do?
You,
Oh, it was
Lina, I
so
said the video. I made this like fucking masterpiece because this guy keeps coming at it. He keeps making new accounts, and
Oh
he
my god.
inevitably finds my videos every fucking time, and he has something to say about them. So he comes and makes a video comment to my comment on my video, being a pain in my balls, and I was like, oh god, I really try not to be a bully, but when you give me a fucking reason to bully. So naturally, I made a whole production out of like just dragging his ass up and down the street.
I
And
just hate her.
regardless, I mean,
So loud. It was so bad.
here's the thing: I blocked him already, so that was totally just for us, and he could see it when he makes his next account. I don't know. So it's a little game. It's a little game.
I've
Of
just
like,
been a
like he
little out of
looks.
the loop lately, okay?
Well, you
No,
have a
no, that's
reason to
fair.
be.
This baby decided that the second trimester is going to be a lot harder than the first. I don't know why, but I'm like 10,000 times more tired.
I
This
feel
is
like
your
you're growing.
final boss,
Right now
baby.
you're in the organ growing section.
All I know is there was one night where, I had told him he needs to take a bunch of shit out of the closet because I needed to find the kids' mud suits because we were starting their homeschool co-op. And that night I passed out, and our closet was like a little cluttered. I have like a clothes rack in front of the closet, so he has to move it and then get into the closet, whatever. He was pulling bags out, pulling clothes out, whatever. I did not wake up. I slept for 12 hours straight and I didn't wake up. Hold on. I got a naked baby who's coming here. Let me turn my camera off for a
At least
second.
you get some warning.
Please don't make me
Oh
edit
my
this goddamn
god.
thing.
It didn't quote. I'm just gonna put my phone down. Go to bed. What are you doing?
I feel like I need a glass of wine for tonight's live. I'm feeling so fucking saucy because I'm absolutely at my limit. With
How do you
everything.
feel about Wiccans who believe you can't be a witch if you don't believe in their laws? They need to deconstruct their Christianity more before they can teach other Wiccans.
Yep.
Like the way I just instantly like wanted to just like, oh my god, this is where I'm like, who's the
Light
annoying
'em up.
evangelicals? You know who else is annoying? Wiccans.
Here's the thing.
So the Aquarian Tabernacle Church, Belladonna is a wonderful woman. She's very knowledgeable and very wise. But I realized that a lot of the elders in the circle before I joined were very strict and rigid on whether or not you followed the laws. And it sounded an awful lot like the church they were trying to pull me from because I was done with it. So what I would say exactly that is, honestly, if you feel like you have to follow these laws, it is mimicking so much of Christianity when most of the
Yeah.
thing about Wicca is to be one with the earth.
Yeah. I feel like
fine.
nowadays there's a lot more like self-aware Wiccans who have been able to deconstruct and understand that, like, you know, if this is your religion, then you might follow those things. That doesn't mean that everyone else has to. And they're able to like deconstruct some of the, you know, racism and appropriation that was in it, like able to acknowledge that, like, at the end of the day, Gerald Gardner was a white man way back whenever that was in the 30s and 40s. So like that's the biggest thing. But if you're able to be self-aware enough and aware of all of those things and able to sift through those things and still be Wiccan, then great.
There was like a moment though in the fucking zeitgeist where like Wicca and witch became so synonymous that like if you did not call yourself Wiccan, they're like, you're not a witch, and it's like.
Yeah.
I still get that from time to time. Like, people will ask me, like, how can you be a Christian Wiccan? I'm not.
Yeah. Like, you don't have to be a Wiccan to be a witch either. So if it's something you're really struggling with and you think that's the only option you have, you don't. Just like you don't have to be a Norse pagan to be a pagan, you know?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. When people ask me questions about like that specifically, like, you know, Wicca is its own religion and then like Christianity is its own religion. Like, I kind of like, my brain immediately goes to like people who are raised in two faith households.
Yeah.
Like, they grew up with two faiths, so why can't I have two faiths? Like, that's just simple as it's girl math. That's what it is.
It's girl math. Yes.
I can have all the religions I want to.
And then somebody else, let's see, what else we got? Let me scroll up a little bit. What are the holidays you can celebrate during the spring equinox? Easter.
What's the Wheel of the Year one, though? The Sabbath.
Ostara.
Bulgarian one.
Ostara.
But
there's
also
a Bulgarian one called Lazarus Day. That's really fun.
That's really fun. You can actually celebrate Imbolc because it is considered St. Bridget's feast day.
Yeah, you can also do Candlemas.
Yes, Candlemas is good. And let's see.
And, Lina, this question's for you right here. Someone said, "Hey, I'm a Christian, but I resonate with astrology. Do y'all study astrology?" Give it
yeah,
we do.
I study astrology. So me personally, I started studying astrology after I had my first baby because his birth was like kind of traumatic for me, and I kind of wanted to understand why it happened the way it did. And I don't know why, but my brain immediately went like, the stars were there when it happened, so like they'll have the answer kind of thing. So I started studying his and I's birth chart, and ultimately the way that I pair it with Christianity, there's a lot of stories and a lot of things people will say about how astrology is like the story of Jesus and whatever. And I've been studying astrology. This child's going to be 8 this year. I've studied astrology for like 7 years solid, right? I cannot find, as much as I research, a good piece of like evidence about like how Jesus fits into the whole astrological wheel and like whatever. I can see tropes of Jesus in each of the signs, like Aries being very energetic, and like, you know, they're also like what's it called, symbolized by like the sheep or the ram kind of thing. So it's like a symbolism of Jesus being the lamb kind of there. And then, you know, Capricorn, that sacrificial energy there of Pisces. And, you know, he has a lot of traits of every single sign, so you can see him in every sign. But ultimately, like for me, it's like, you know, Jesus one like tells us, I think it's in Luke. He tells us to look to the stars for when his return's going to be. He points us to the stars several times. A lot of Jewish holidays are centered around like where the moon is and like the way that the placements of that is. And ultimately, like it talks about in Genesis how God hung the stars and he named every single one of the stars, right? So how are we, and he used them to be signs to mark specific times of the year. And ultimately, like astrology originally was created by the Mesopotamians to denote different times of the year. So like Virgo season was like the harvest, you know, like Capricorn season was when it got more cold for them, so on and so forth. So that's what it originally started for. And then they kind of like realized there were patterns behaviorally. But that's the way that long story short, the way that I wrap it up in my head is that God created the stars. God created us. They're just signs. You know, I'm not worshiping the stars here. I'm not worshiping the moon. I'm not worshiping the sun. I'm kind of just looking at it. And, you know, I could use it for personality astrology, look at myself, look at my kids, look at my husband's charts and understand what we need a little bit more. I could use it for like looking at the broad spectrum of like what's going on in the world and like kind of making sense of current events based on like, you know, chart of the moment or chart of like big events kind of thing. And then you can also use it in horary astrology where you can ask very specific questions. You know, I've used horary astrology to ask like where a missing wallet was, or like where I lost my laptop at one point and it told me like where it was kind of thing. So you can use astrology in many different ways. It's not like a very it's not as much of a cut and dry practice as like TikTok would have you believe, but it's really just figuring out how you, as a small being and a small creation of God, coexists within this big creation of God, which is the universe.
Can I add on to this? Because
Yeah.
all this discussion is making me think, like, especially with the personality part, like, I don't know if anyone's played Dark Souls, but the way I see it, like, astrology, your birth chart dictates, like, your starting class, but, like, if you've played Dark Souls, you know that you could put your points into anything you fucking want and be a completely different class by the end. Like, completely different playstyle, so it's your starting stats, but it doesn't define every single thing forever. You define that. It's just, this is just, like, knowing what you're dealing with helps you deal with it.
Yeah. And your birth chart's meant to grow with you. That's why, like, when it's your birthday, you can look at your, like, solar return chart and see what that year brings for you. And a lot of the times in your solar return chart, you'll have a different moon sign, you'll have a different rising sign. Obviously, all of the planets will be different because it's a different year than when you were born. So your chart is meant to grow with you. It's not meant to be something that, like, holds you back or, like, defines, like, you know, I'm a Taurus, right? So it's very easy to be like, oh my God, she's a Taurus, she's lazy. But they don't talk about the fact that Tauruses are really committed. They're really loyal. They're very persistent. They're like people who will continue to move forward. Yeah, you know, kind of thing. So that's the point of astrology. It's not to put yourself in a box. It's to expand your box and just expand your understanding of yourself and what's going on around you. And you find like positive and negative traits in everything kind of thing.
And then somebody asked what's the difference between astrology and astronomy.
Yep.
So you have to know some astronomy to know astrology.
But astronomy is like the study of outer space and the planets.
Right.
And...
That's the science and mathy part. And then astrology is like the spiritual and a little bit of girl math.
Yeah, no, astrology, I was just literally going to say astrology is like 100% girl math. And the way that I can like look at a wheel in my head and like calculate that, you can't tell me that's not girl math, because what's fucking boy is doing that?
Yeah. So they've asked us a couple times, and I want us to come back to it, that you feel like a Christian witch, but you're feeling scared and guilty, and how do you feel like that? How do we overcome that?
I was gonna goof it like, oh hey, so you're Catholic. Haha. But
No, evangelicals straight up. Evangelicals have more scared and guilt in them.
Yeah,
as somebody who sat on both sides of the fence,
well, you know what?
I will say,
it's like the Catholic guilt is legendary, but like also there's a lot of wine involved, so I don't know.
I feel like the Catholics have more guilt and the evangelicals have more fear.
That's a good way of
putting
it.
Yeah.
But the way to deal with it is to just study about Christian witchcraft and study the Bible and learn how much of what your pastor was telling you is not true. And then it's like, oh, well, some fucking, in the words of Semler, a loser and a button-up can't send you to hell.
Fuck. Alright.
Once you learn that, it's gonna help you a lot. Study.
Like no one wants my answer to this, so you guys go ahead.
And so the other part is, remember, and this is gonna have, and that's kind of what I am actually. Ghoul is it's kind of a Pentecostal witch. It's interesting. But what you can look at it is, God made dirt, God made rocks, God made flowers, God made herbs, God made all these things. If you believe in the Bible, if you believe in what is being said, of those parables and those stories as being said of acts of God and miracles of God, the mythology of Christianity, if you will. If you believe in that mythology, if you believe in that theology, then you would also believe probably that the Holy Spirit is all around us and within us, and that is a way we can communicate and talk to God. That power flows through us, and therefore we can use that power. Animism is therefore introduced to you, so everything has spirit and everything will work for you. The plants have their spirit because of the Holy Spirit being here on the earth and things like that. The stories that are in the Bible can be lessons and then applied, and you can also look at different areas where they studied stars, where they cast lots, where they did a whole bunch of stuff, where they had taken things in the Bible that were accurate, that God said, use these tools to discern, and boom, bam, there you go. So it takes a long time. It takes a long time when you are so entrenched in that Pentecostal and Baptist, the ICOC, the super Catholic, as I like to call it, like where you're so deep in it, but you haven't actually seen like the witchy side of stuff yet and how it's all basically ritualistic. So it takes a long time. But the other side of that is, if you have already been like, yes, I know God, this is me, I pray and I understand that that's what's being put on my heart, and this feels like it's being put on my heart in the same way, the same vibe, then guess what? Keep praying on that. Keep using that discernment, because God gave us those gifts.
Yep. Another thing,
I think
I bring this up every time, but the Jewish annotated New Testament has an essay in the back of it all about magic. And it's not condemning magic. It's talking about all of the ways that it was utilized at the time. So it's like, you literally got an essay in the back of a Bible being like, pro magic? Question mark?
Yeah.
Like, oh my takeaway from that essay was fucking rabbis slinging spells with witches. That had me fucking rolling. I was like, oh my god. Fireball is addressed to whom it may concern. Like, fuck. But let me add on to this, because I know I said no one wants my answer, because my answer is fucking unhinged, but
yes, they do.
Get comfortable with literally wrestling with God. Like, get comfortable turning right around, looking him in the eye and saying, why? Because, like, why though? Like, literally play the why game with God and see if you are still alive the next day. You probably will be.
But you won't be happy about it.
We are just his toddlers.
And also, stick to your guns sometimes. That's one of my biggest things, is, like, if you really genuinely feel that something is fucked up, like, say so. So that's the thing. Like, getting over the guilt and the fear means actually having that relationship with God. It means being comfortable with him enough to say, hey, I don't get this. I don't understand. I don't like this. Help me out. He will. He absolutely will. And other times he'll want you to stick to your guns. Like, I made Michael kind of pissy one time because, I don't know, he was kind of being rude to who I was interviewing. And later he was like, hey, don't undermine me, because I was like, dude, like, back off. This is fucked. And then I was like, well, I'm sorry if you're offended, but that was fucked. And I feel like I got off way easier for that than if I had, like, been all, oh no, Michael's angry, and, like, been scared. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense, but, like, sometimes it's like they test you. They see how willing to stick to your guns you are, and if you're willing to change on a whim because they said so, or if you want to stay true to who you are.
I think my answer is very similar to that, because, like, it's, like, really the stupidest thing in the entire world. Mine's literally just, you have to let go of that. Like, it's just not, if it doesn't serve you, let go. Ultimately, at the end of the day, God does not want you, or Jesus does not want you to be sitting there questioning every little thing you're doing, asking every single day if you're going to hell because you pulled a fucking card out of a deck. Like, they don't, like, they care about you, but I'm sorry, they don't care that much that they're going to nitpick every little thing that you do, especially if you're doing things with a pure intention and with, like, a good heart. Like, you're not, like, going out and, you know, like, I don't really know how to, like, describe that. In a sense, I think that that's something that everybody has to define for themselves, like, what a good intention and a good heart means. For me, it's just, like, my intention is just to connect with God. Like, I know that I am a very visual person. I'm a very fact person. Like, I need to have all the information in front of me, as much information as I possibly can, and it helps me to move forward, right? So if I can't tangibly see God, I can tangibly see these cards, right? So I can ask God, like, hey, show me something you want me to see using these cards. And it helps a lot with, like, that aspect of it. Just, like, it's just having more information to work with God kind of thing. I don't know if that makes sense. But
no, yeah, I mean, straight meditation and channeling is fucking hard. So, like,
that doesn't work for me.
Yeah, it's so
unless I'm listening to, like, a song and I'm, like, really deep into, like, music and whatnot. Usually this happens when I'm under the influence of, like, a glass of wine or two. Then I get some sort of, like, mental revelation. But because that's when my thoughts are, like, clear enough to actually, like, shut up and listen. Because otherwise,
Well, I'm lucky that, like, because I write fantasy books, that I can imagine things pretty easily, so it's really easy for me to connect with, like, visualization and actually see them how they're trying to be seen. So that's fun, but it still took me a year to get anywhere near good at that. And actually, it's from this book that you can go and see my journey on how to be good at that.
Aww. The evolution of Sarah in one book.
It's so crazy because, like, I'm writing Loki's, and Loki, like, is just coming through with, like, little snaps of words in my head, but I couldn't really grasp him. Then by the end of the book, I'm, like, in full Technicolor in the middle of some field, and I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Oh, God, Dexter.
All right, let me scroll
You
up.
scared the shit out of me. What do you need?
So, first of all, lol, of course Catholics are Christians because they believe that Christ is the Son of God. That's how you are a Christian. Congratulations. How is the best way to contact God and do energy work? Right.
Connecting with God is as easy as, like, just talking.
It's almost 9 o'clock. You need to be asleep. Goodbye. Stop sneaking up on me. I thought you were a cat. That's why it scared me so bad.
Good night,
Sorry.
Dexter.
And is in full fuck your life mode.
He scared me really bad, okay?
Fuck.
He's like tiptoeing. I think that it's a cat. But I'm like, it also could have been a child. That's why I got up and looked. It was a child.
What is wrong? That we're yelling at our child to go back to bed? Go away, Kenny.
Not my Kenny, though. He's a different Kenny.
Go away.
Ooh. I told my kid to go to sleep because it's almost 9 p.m. Whoa. Horrible.
Yeah, you can talk to God
is
any
someone
way
being
you wish.
soft? Is someone being soft as fuck?
Yeah.
Softer than a fucking grape.
My mom's from the old country. I got my ass handed to me, like, quite literally, several times. Not saying it's good, but yelling a little bit is, like, normal conversation.
Oh my god, I think this is a record number of trolls that we have had.
It's
Sarah,
the best
what
troll
do you
night.
do?
It's Troll Tuesday.
You know what I
Troll on
think?
Tuesday.
I think they're just
I'm
really
accidentally
trying to.
attracted. I don't know.
No, it's a. You guys go ahead and stay in the chat because.
No, Kenny!
Not that. Not that. What's wrong with witchcraft? Oh.
Alright, fuck the kids. Witchcraft's what's...
Yeah. Fuck them kids.
Oh, the more people we have watching us, the more we're gonna be on people's pages. Thank you for being here and boosting our numbers.
Oh, God.
You're making us more money.
Where is the moon tonight? Whatchamacallit? What's the full moon? The 29th? So what's today?
We're waxing. We're like.
But no, wait. What's today's date? The 19th? Okay, so we're 10 days away from the full moon.
Oh, it's
and this full moon. Wait, I'm doing girl math. The full moon's going to be in Aries. So we are probably. I'd say we're in like late Sagittarius or Capricorn right now.
I'm gonna
say.
Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. I
gotta like look at it now.
Like, my Sagittarius moon's like, fuck your life, everybody.
No, I gotta see it. Check if I'm right.
Boxes right now. Okay, so block us. Bye-bye.
Adios. You know, did you know if you interact with content like witchcraft content on TikTok, you'll get more witchcraft content on your TikTok For You page? Yep, so if you don't want to see witchcraft, stop interacting with it.
Oh, thanks, Luna. Yeah, so, and you know what's really crazy? No, I think they're really trying to proselytize because the rapture is tonight at midnight, even though that's the hour.
That's why they're all coming out in force, is because of the rapture.
That's what it is. They're all like,
oh, it's in Scorpio. I was wrong. Damn. But Sagittarius is near Scorpio, so you know what? I would say I can get it. I'll say 80% of the time, just based on the date and just knowing where it is.
Pregnancy brain.
But no, I'd say I'll give myself a win for that one because I said Sagittarius or Capricorn. Scorpio's right before Sagittarius, so and it's in the later degrees of Scorpio, so I'm not wrong.
So according to the conspiracy
there too.
That according to Ace Ventura, Pet Detective 1 and 2, the end of the world comes on September the 23rd. So between the Virgo astrology and Ace Ventura, Pet Detective being God speaking to us through the 90s, these Christians are really trying to save our souls here.
Meanwhile, it's the 23rd, and that's okay because then I still get to go to my concert on Thursday.
You wish your wife
Oh
would leave you
man,
alone
we're
and
kids
pretend
then
to live
tonight. I'm
with
supposed to see Boy Genius next
Wait,
week.
hold on.
It's
Why
gotta,
would
it's
you
gotta
lie
wait.
to her?
Hold on,
It's gotta wait.
I love. Hold on.
Oh,
I love this
Maggie.
comment. I wish my
No.
wife would leave me alone and pretend to be a witch with her friends. I'm sorry that you hate your wife, you fucking. Damn.
Oh my god.
What's with
And
you?
that's a good Christian man.
Woo!
Right? Like literally that's oh my god.
God bless your wife, dude.
Mm.
You want to see what a
Your
real
wife is welcome to come hang out with us anytime she wants.
you want to see what a real
We'll
Christian
treat
man
her real good.
I am far from a Christian man.
You've been baptized and you do believe in Jesus. You see this? This is a real Christian man who supports his witchy wife right here. Don't ya?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Wait, where's Roman? I gotta go find Roman.
find
Roman's a
thinks I'm-
Catholic?
Oh, yeah.
Find Roman on the back
Fuck.
porch.
He's gonna go find Roman and God on the back porch now.
I'm joking, my wife isn't that stupid. You're so funny. Oh my
So
god.
mean about your wife.
I
Does
don't
she
think that's the
know?
problem. I don't think that's a problem with your comment, though, buddy. I don't think that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, I think that something else isn't satisfying your wife. Anyway,
I pity your wife if 7 minutes is eternity.
I mean, like, if we're gonna go on and like brag about our wife needing new company, that really gives small peepee energy. But like, I mean,
for me, it's more the I wish my wife would leave me alone. Like,
yeah, small peepee energy. Like, that's really.
pass her my way. Like,
Oh,
We
now
didn't sell out Jesus. Jesus is still with us. He's
Hey, guess what?
he's cool with it.
oh,
Actually,
shit.
I got-
Oh, Kenny,
I got
Kenny, I
another
forgot
one.
about you. Sorry, I forgot you were here, Kenny. Sorry.
How dare you sell
I gotta
out
tell you
Jesus
something.
for
Come here,
witchcraft?
come here. Listen, I need you to listen real close. Come here. Jesus died. Jesus died before
Hey.
the fall of
Just stop there.
Jerusalem.
Kenny,
Before
if
Constantine
we're selling out Jesus for
Oh,
witchcraft, what about like people like Joel Olsteen that say donate your money to me and Jesus and you'll be rich?
Because I need a new Lamborghini.
That's not selling Jesus out. That's not okay.
Holy for I am holy. Are you
That's
holy? Do you have
that's
to
Christian
do
math.
what you're supposed to?
Jesus is alive. My God is not dead. He surely. That's what that one reminded me of.
No,
He's
Jesus is
alive.
dead. Jesus died. Some people say he did not die completely. Like if you look at the Quran, it was not really him that got crucified, but his visage. I'm just saying, if you look at other religions when they talk about Jesus,
Mimi, they're Christians. They don't care about other religions. They're
I
not
keep
smart
forgetting
enough to
that.
study.
I think that my favorite thing here is this person's name is reasonably offensive, and then his bio is peace, love, good times.
No, Jesus. Honey, we know he did. We know he died. I'm saying he died. What are you arguing with me for? I said he died.
No, this is a different person.
That was
I
a
need
different
to hear-
person.
Mama
That
I
person's
don't know.
a witch.
Oh,
Hold
hang
on,
on.
let's talk
It's
about
not
that though. 'Cause
showing
really,
the faces. Okay, now it is. I'm sorry. I moved it a little
does
bit. I
anyone
apologize.
honestly? Nobody tries to pimp Jesus out more than these fucking mega churches. Like, let's be 100%
Facts.
Like, if you want to see people treating Jesus like a really fucking like cheap stripper, it's these fucking mega churches. So bad.
You're not wrong.
I just like really want to make a list of like all of these like ridiculous things people say to us and like I don't know, like make posters out of them or t-shirts or something because I feel like it would just be really great.
I want Jesus on a stripper pole. Can I get Jesus posing on a stripper pole?
Jesus, I'm friends with them. I'll have to be like,
Yo,
hey, new post idea.
Jesus. I think G Jesus genuinely. I'm not even like. I'm not just saying this. I think that they are one of my favorite TikTok creators. I fucking love it. And then the fact that they were on Glee.
Yeah.
Oh, makes it even better. Even better. My Jesus was on Glee.
Yeah.
But my Jesus.
But no, like, listen, look. I think that they are really just here to troll us instead of being like.
Well, I think that's what their name is. It's reasonably offensive. That's exactly what this douche is trying to do, is be reasonably offensive. And it's absolutely hilarious.
From July,
love
that
being a
one guy had a
Sagittarius
really
moon.
shitty
I can take
name,
shit
and he was
seriously.
actually kind of nice.
you
I
know.
really, where's Kenny? I miss him. He has some great, like, self-righteous flame. Come back, Kenny.
Oh, Orthodox kid came back.
Orthodox kid, my
wait.
love.
With a
Oh my
dot.
God,
He
welcome
said
back,
period.
baby. Damn, I know.
We
I
are
know we're
smart.
but
I
Yes,
literally
we
know
are.
I'm so smart. Like, thank you.
It's almost like Sarah and Mimi are writing a book about all of this.
Studying
What?
theology all our lives.
Crazy.
oh fuck, wait, hold on. All right, let's actually get some like real.
Christian witches. Jiminy
Yeah,
Timbers.
welcome. Where the fuck do we actually have questions in here? Because like we spent a good amount of time just throwing shit.
The only
This
ones we
pregnancy's
had were
made
like,
me wild, like for real. Like
how
before,
do
you
you
guys know trolls came in here, be like, stop being mean,
Hold
and
on.
now I'm just like laughing at
Yeah,
people.
we're
Orthodox
opening up
I
the
love the
GP
glow.
trying to have a
conversation.
real
Hold
conversation.
on.
Thank
Wait,
you.
That's okay. If
Hold
you're
on.
open to like actually talk to us and let us explain our viewpoints and have an open mind, then hell yeah, we're absolutely open to that, and we will reasonably explain if you reasonably ask your questions. We're just talking
However,
about the trolls
Orthodox
because it's
kid.
fun.
Can I
He's
also
really
make
Orthodox
fun.
another
kid.
statement?
Wait,
Can I make another statement?
Yeah.
We are not trying to convert your asses. Stop
Nope.
it.
no.
We don't want
I
you
really
here
don't
if
care
you
what
don't
you
want
do.
to be here.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing, right? Orthodox kid, you got to break that habit of coming into chats with the you're a sinner, convert to Orthodoxy. You got to break that tick, man. Like you got to get rid of that habit. That's not a good
You want
habit
to
to
hear?
have. you
You
don't
want to
really.
hear?
That's not a great opener for like meeting new people.
No. All right, here we go. We finally got some.
All right, we got like a
Looking
decent
at
amount of
this.
questions here.
I would
What's
definitely consecrate your first deck.
Let's see.
Consecrate your
Scrolling
first
up.
deck. I
Consecrate
consecrate all
first
my
deck.
decks to God. But
See, okay, so like the way that I personally prepare a deck, I guess like I pray over it and whatnot, but I blow smoke onto it. Like that's like a big
Yeah.
thing. And if I can't smoke, unfortunately, because I can't smoke, I'll use one of these motherfuckers. And blah, 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 blah. And then some people will be like, you can't have that around you. Oh well,
Oh, there's
well
my thing.
fine.
we're
The good
fine.
tin.
I take quartz with my cards and I put them in a silk pouch and put them underneath my bed, which is what you're supposed to do, or on my nightstand with some
On the
selenite.
pillow. I sleep with a lot of decks in my room too. Like and I like frequently switch out which decks we like sleep with. I know that sounds so weird, but like I just feel like it's important to have a deck in there. Just
I have
catching the
my
energy
deck
at
of
least.
tarot cards next to my picture of Jesus, next to my full moon bowl.
See,
Never,
I'm
ever,
lazy.
Ever, hold on, never ever cleanse a deck with water though, because like one time I tried to do holy water and I ruined the gilding on the side.
Yeah,
It was so
don't do
nasty.
that.
Do that. Oh, Sarah.
Smoke,
I'm
sound.
lazy. I just
I was
like
dumb.
hold it in my hands and I'm like, cleansed.
That's fine. You could do that.
If Thecla can baptize herself while being chased by lions,
Fuck.
we can
Why
do it.
not? Do any of y'all know anything about Dreamwork? So I'm starting to do Dreamwork now because I have noticed that during this pregnancy, funny enough, I'm pregnant with a Pisces, and Pisces rule over sleep and dreams. So I'm having some really wild dreams this time around. I remember with my first two having dreams, but like this time I'm like having dreams that are very applicable to like life, and like I can like kind of manipulate them in a way, sort of thing, or like I'm getting very specific messages about like certain situations that are going on using like with dreams work. Like one of the first dreams I had with this baby was that they were born at home, and I'm pretty sure that that's an indicator that they're going to be born at home. Like I had that same dream with Scott, and I actually like in this specific dream though with this baby I caught the baby, so I'm assuming that they were communicating to me that that's what they want, sort of thing. So I've been using it in that way. However, I also have been using it to kind of like reflect on like before bed. I'll like basically like I'll sit there and I'll pray for a little bit, and I'll be like, okay, this is like what I'm really anxious about. This is what I'm really worried about here, and this is what I kind of need like messages about, right? And then I'll go to sleep, and not every time will this work because like it's it obviously just depends on the type of REM cycle you get into ultimately. But, sometimes it'll really work to this point where I'll get like such a applicable dream to the question I asked that it's like fucking spooky. So that's kind of what I would like recommend for dream work, is just really like meditating or like, praying for a minute before you go to bed and see if that works. And outside of that, I really don't, you could use different like herbs and whatnot. You could drink teas with like chamomile or I forgot. Wasn't mugwort the one that you really like? You drink to like have like really wild dreams. Yeah, you could do mugwort. If
Don't
that's
drink
like safe for
mugwort if
you.
you're pregnant. I know Lina
Yeah,
knows that. I'm
don't
telling
use
it to the
mugwort
people.
when you're pregnant. I'm not drinking mugwort now. I'm drinking red raspberry. So you know.
Also, I have a Bible verse for reasonably offensive later after we get through a few more of our things, and it will be because that.
Why?
Why
Why
do you
bother
look
with
on
him?
here?
He's
I'll
obviously
spy
here
on
to
your
Oh
destroy
mail.
no,
shit. Don't bother with him.
Orthodox kid was asking a similar question, so he's just the one
Oh,
that
Oh,
popped up.
Oh, look
Orthodox
at the
kid had a good
kitty.
question.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with hold on, actually, let's go to that. So, because someone else is asking a similar question of how do Christian and witch go together, and the problem is that this is a really long conversation because we have to go through a lot of like socio-political fucking shit about like what a witch even is, how it's defined, who's defining it. And so, like, Christian witchcraft is just another term for mysticism. Like, if we're being dead ass, that's what it is. It's mysticism. And the word witch comes into play because of how it's
Don't you
evolved in
want
the
to have
past
it?
literal century. The past century, witch has gone away from the original meaning of being like a shitty person who fucks with their neighbors and is now, like, basically a dog whistle for like super feminist icon if you really think about it, if you really want to put it that way. So Christian witchcraft is the title we wear on at least me, I wear it on purpose to be politically what is it, what's that word,
You're a rabble
inflammatory. I
rouser.
wear it inflammatory, I guess is the thing. I purposely do that because how people react to the term tells me all I need to know about them. But in reality, all I'm doing is the same shit that everyone's always done, which is bless things through the Holy Spirit, work with God's creation, understand that God's creation is divinely imbued with power. Understand that there's a world beyond mine. There are angels, there are demons, there are other spirits, and trying to live in harmony with them rather than freak out, shit my pants, and die all the time. So, honestly, I find that people who like get worse with witchcraft and who get scared and who get miserable, they're doing it all wrong. They're coming with so many assumptions and baggage because in my journey as a Christian witch, I have never been closer to God. I have never been more confident with myself. I have never been more secure with my place in the world than being on this path because it's a path meant for people who aren't content with just like living like a hamster in a cage, basically.
He goes, "That's not a witch." Who are you to tell witches what it means to be a witch, first of all? Second of all, we can ignore this guy now. He's never going to learn. But
He's actually just corroborating what we're saying, is that it's God working through
like,
us. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
The Bible.
But
we read the Bible.
our Orthodox kid, in Luke, and I want to say it was Luke 8, where he says that you will know the mysteries of heaven, of the kingdom of heaven, through these parables, for those who are willing to hear and willing to see. And in those moments, when you look back at the mysticism that has been present from the very beginning, even all the way down to when the tongues of fire were on their head and the tongues were spoken in, it was a miracle. What was known as a miracle in the Bible, in a modern day lens, is considered magic, whether we want to call it a miracle or not. That's what it is. And so,
yeah, they were the same things. They weren't really separate things back in the day. Beyond that, Paul was definitely into mysticism. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the letters.
Pick up a copy.
I know some.
Pick up a copy of the Jewish annotated New Testament and just flip to the back of the essays.
But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so when Paul says, I know someone who is taken up to the third heaven and immediately gives up the I know someone and just starts talking about himself, like, yes, like, Paul was very much involved in Jewish mysticism and, like, saw some shit. Like, that's just how that...
Paul is New Testament. You're talking about the Old
baby, is
Testament.
Luke in the New Testament? Okay, we need to block him.
He doesn't even know what he's talking about.
No, at this point.
I don't think he even knows his left from his right.
All right.
No. So the other ones are...
brain.
Sorry, reasonably offensive. You have to actually be a good troll for me to care.
Also, to the person asking, demons will not come to you unless you invite them in.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Demons
Demons
won't
really
mess
could
with
give
you.
a fuck about bothering you. They really don't have the patience to just fuck with people for fun.
And also,
speaking of which, I should go find my...
butterfly. I don't know. They keep saying the same one. I want to believe in God and the spirit realm. How can I tell it's true? I mean, honestly...
I can't tell you that. You just...
How does anyone of any religion know that their belief system is true? They just do.
Yeah, they
just
do.
have faith. There's no one right way, unless you can, like, if you start practicing and you have experiences and you see
excited.
the results of those nice, I love that deck.
Look at the red gilding, it's so beautiful. And also, like,
pretty.
some of these are so cute. Where's Fur? Oh my god, I love that Forrest is like a weightlifting babe. Like, look at him. He's got his little thing. I love the way that the
shuffle
Goetia
though.
Huh?
My angel deck.
It's our boy. I got this deck so that I could have it, like, I didn't have to write down their sigils and make it be, like, super shitty. So, like, now I can actually put Asmodeus' card down. It's gonna be great.
I'm so excited for you, Sarah. You're gonna love him.
So how do you
really,
protect
like, I was so afraid because I didn't want to be offensive, especially where, like, Tobit's concerned. I think if I just, like, keep my shit together, I'll be fine, but, like,
I feel like it's one of those things, like, honestly, just ask, like, do you want to talk about it? And he might not. Just go with it. He might give you a whole side tangent of, let me tell you my tale.
I maybe have to be like, do we want to address the elephant in the room?
Yeah.
My respect for him went up so much when I figured out how fucking good he got King Solomon. Oh my god. I was like, what a fucking absolute legend.
Yeah, the ancient one sticks together really, really bad. It frustrates the hell out of me, and is one reason why I don't use it anymore.
Actually, while I just pulled the demon one out, let me... See, I got this one for my birthday, and thank you to whoever sent this to me, but also, like, it meant that I had to get the demon one too. But yeah, so this is the angel deck with the gold gilding, and it also has, like, all their sigils and, like, all their really pretty pictures. I love it so much.
As a tarot deck, those decks suck because it doesn't tell you the meaning of the cards. If you're not versed in tarot and you don't know what the tarot cards mean, then it's not a very good deck. So you gotta kind of know what tarot means and what the cards mean, and then use that knowledge to be like, okay, so this angel is associated with this card, and that's how that correspondences with the other correspondences, and yeah.
Now, on the other hand,
why, like...
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Oh, no, that's why, like, when I got the angel and I looked at it, I was like, oh, wait, like, yeah, I know tarot enough to use this that way, but also, this is fucking awesome for actual summonings, and so that's why I got the demon deck, too, because I was like, hell yeah. So...
I was gonna say,
Me personally, I think that if you're for like a beginner tarot deck, you need to find something that really reflects images that you see in your world. Like there's like a lot of like pretty decks, like the Angel Tarot deck. There's like the Cat Tarot deck. You know, there's all these like really pretty and like designer quote decks, right? But if you don't understand what's going on in the picture, like I'm sorry, like the Five of Pentacles and like the Cat Tarot is like a cat swatting something. That gives you nothing about what the card actually means. But other decks, this one's the oh gosh, what is it called? The One World Tarot. Like the Three of Wands, that's what it looks like. This guy like looking out and seeing an adventure on the horizon for him. You know, like it has more of a depictive. You know, the Nine of Swords is like somebody like really anguished in bed and like it's keeping her up at night. So it's a lot more. Like imagery wise, it's a lot more descriptive, and I feel like that's important for somebody with a whatchamacallit, with beginner tarot deck. So like I like this one, and the Light Seers tarot deck's really good. But if you want a tarot deck that has like writing on it, that has like, you know, like keywords of what the cards mean, I like the Wandering Star tarot deck. So that's my pick about tarot decks.
Someone asked, is demonic possession real? And if so, why does it tend to target women and AFAB folks? This is complicated. I don't want to say that anything definitively is or is not real. But I feel like it's rare if it is real. Like legitimate negative spirit possession. For one thing, it's not going to be demons as we know them. But like a malevolent spirit possessing you in the entire span of humanity, has it maybe happened once or twice? Probably, because humans have been around for a long time. But it's not gonna be as often as you think and how it is portrayed in movies.
Also, a lot of it is just fucking misogyny, because like when all of this stuff, all of demonology was being invented, or like not really invented, but like when the church was really getting down and dirty, like, oh, these are the demons, and like writing down the Goetia and everything, like they were under the impression that women were all like lustful, stupid, easily corruptible people, and that's why they were so quick to be possessed by demons. And so, like, the reality is that women are no more susceptible to this shit than men, and this is very evident in how stupid men can be in
Yeah.
history.
Well,
So,
and
like,
also just like if you like, I think hysteria was like a legitimate medical diagnosis until like the 80s
Yeah.
because they're like a woman who's horny, hysteria, like
also, hysteria literally comes from, like, uterus, like hysterectomy, hysteria. Like,
yeah, like the
Yeah.
word literally comes from it.
I
So
was literally just gonna say that. It's like I feel like it's a lot more recorded with women because we work on a different cycle than men. So in like a patriarchal society where like men's like hormones literally work on a 1 day, 24-hour cycle, whereas a woman's hormones work on a 28-day cycle. So we feel emotions a lot more like deeply than typically a man would. It's just that's kind of like how hormones work there. So we tend to get a little bit more quote unquote crazy or like emotional or whatever. And instead of like actually getting to the root of that and like asking us how we feel and then like listening about it, they just like label demon possession, like on top of it.
and then also like having not enough knowledge about legitimate mental illness, like people who
Hmm.
legitimately had schizophrenia or DID or something else going on, not having knowledge of those disorders until quite recently in the grand scheme of humanity, and someone in 1900 having one of those or epilepsy or whatever, oh, it's a demon.
and you know what
And
else? If we
also,
actually, if we go back to Bible study, though, if you ever notice the people described as being demon possessed, like they're experiencing like epilepsy or like
Yeah.
psychosis or like
or fucking ring.
diagnosable things. Like,
But also, I want to say as an aside, because I'm going to pull out this card again because I can. The autistic meltdowns look like
Yep.
possession. As someone who has been exorcised twice because my parents and my uncle, who are all in Southern Baptist, they all thought I was possessed having sensory meltdowns. And the exorcism was actually worse than the sensory meltdown, fuck's sake. But it
yeah,
was,
I mean that's
it was,
common. The like changelings is another way people describe
yeah.
autistic people.
But because so many, especially so many girls who were expected to be quiet and nice and just take it, have these kind of reactions on top of anything for mental health.
Yep.
That's why in most views it looks like that. It's not an accuracy, it's just the way it's depicted to kind of give it a, well, women are more susceptible to demons and that's why witchcraft is wrong. It's not. It has nothing to do with it.
You know what's hilarious? During with all this, especially in like the height of the burning times in Germany, it was Johann Weyer who literally was like, "Why are we treating these women like agents of evil when they're clearly just victims of whatever's going on?" And beyond that, why are we so focused on women when there are plenty of men who are just as involved in all this kind of magical shit, and we aren't looking at them even half as much? And I was like, "Go off, babe. Tell them."
That's a big one. Yeah. Honestly, that's the biggest thing. Part of the shadow work, if you are able to safely afford therapy, please go to therapy.
Yeah.
Take your
Yeah.
work to therapy. Talk about these things that you're having. Make sure that you have a therapist who understands that you are a more spiritual person and put things side by side. So my and I will say that almost every single state insurance. So whatever it is, your Medicare, I think it is. If you are low income and on Medicare, there are almost always some kind of therapy programs that you can get into, even if it's just to talk to somebody to get it out of your own head or to get it off the page.
Yeah.
Part of deconstruction, part of being practicing your craft, part of doing all of this. Yeah, you exist because it's a necessity. There's magic and mundane, and it's hard to tell the difference between some of these sometimes. And you've got having an outside perspective to help you focus and ground a little bit more, because that's part of grounding, will kind of help you realize what could be real, what could be disassociation.
Yep.
Also, we gotta remember that a lot of witchcraft, like, when we look at what we do, this is just a very, very, very archaic form of therapy. So now we have more tools. Like, we have way more
Hmm.
tools, understanding, resources. Use those first. Like, witchcraft is fun and cute, but very clearly it's a way that people who didn't have any of these tools tried to control the uncontrollable back in the day.
Yeah, it's really hard to find, and even if you can just find one that's like, hey, I am more spiritual, so you don't even have to say I'm a witch outright. Just be like, hey, I'm more spiritual. Can we talk about this? Are you open-minded enough to understand and hear where I'm coming from?
Yep.
That's all you
I've
gotta
always like on like Psychology Today, you can look and like find like they like put like spiritually like open or something like that on them. So you
Yep.
can actually find therapists that are labeled like that. That's how I found my last therapist. And
I would also go so far as to say to speak to a therapist who is also an atheist, because they will be able to put it through, not a therapist, not a psychiatrist, a therapist, to give you things to help you get grounded if you feel like things are an issue. I've worked with both. Please do not get a psychiatrist who will only be like, sounds like you're crazy to me, bye.
Right.
I'm over halfway through.
Yay, Sarah! We're not gonna be up till 3 a.m. You could do it.
Maybe 1 a.m.
that's still better than 3.
Yes.
So
That's fair.
For everyone who's still here, Sarah's book comes out tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow. Oh, fuck. That's what I'm doing over here. I feel like...
Which does not mean to do harm.
Huh?
Mm-mm.
Um...
If witch can mean anything you want it to mean. So if you want to say that you're a witch, then you can call yourself a witch, and it can mean whatever you want it to mean.
It's like, it's so frustrating to have these conversations with people who just like don't know the history of the term, because it's like,
look it up on Google.
How do I explain all this to you?
Yeah,
how about look at a book, bro?
Because Google is correct all the time.
So the other part of this for Mr. Dragon High Priest Christian, you are speaking to people who not only have the degrees in rhetoric, who have been studying this for, Sarah, you want to say like 10 or 15 now? Years?
Like,
something like
good
that?
12.
Yeah.
Good 12.
So, and not only that, but the socio-political patterns in our speech that we use today and how they've evolved just in the last 50 years. It's not that we're saying you're not right, but we are saying that the words you're using are reflective of a Christian lens and a evangelical Christian lens that do not.
But you know, book alert. If you guys want to understand more about this switch in the term witch, Laura Vance's "Women in New Religions" has a whole chapter on Wicca that really, really nails it. Explains it very well, how this happened and what the shift caused and what the results were.
Mm-hmm. As well as
always someone else's thought.
I tell us to look at Google. Anyway.
All right.
All right. The other aspect.
Just go Google that.
Well.
Have fun with that.
The other aspect of it is there's been so many different translators over the years for what each one means that the word witch has basically just been over Hollywoodized essentially at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not even just that. It's really like been ingrained in our society. Like if we think about like back like Salem witch trials kind of thing, it's really been ingrained to be a bad thing in our society. So it's not surprising that people have this opinion, but it's really not correct.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Although, just so everyone else is aware, anti-intellectualism is fucking ridiculous. If someone has studied and has degrees, that makes them more educated than you with your Google University degree. Like, I don't give a shit what you think about anything. If someone has literally studied it for, like, more than 5 years and you literally just Googled it today, shut the fuck up. Thanks.
Amen, Sarah.
Oh, I'm so tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
It literally, like, on Google, it just says, like, a person thought to have magic powers, and then it, like, also has especially evil ones, but it's just a person thought to have magical powers. So you're reading too far into things, girly pop.
Let's see.
This is
How can you
side
identify
note.
better with hearing your... Oh, sorry, Sarah. I can't fucking hear you over your tape, I swear to God.
I'm sorry, but no, I'm just like
Or the
funny, goofy
other
little.
definition of it is a follower or practitioner of Wicca or modern witchcraft.
So,
Yes.
Got it.
Very
So-
evil there. Yes.
So not even Google University backs you up. That's embarrassing. But whatever. So I'm just laughing because like I'm packing up with Father Kyle's order, and if he's hearing this chat, probably not. But God decided he should read Leviathan's fucking thing first. Hey.
you know, I could see that, though.
See, you're talking about abortion, but like we're all pro-choice. So I mean, good for you.
That's just
There's a lot of
that's
touchdowns, but can't stop.
congratulations. Would you
We're all
like a
pro-choice here.
reward for that? Like
Also, Father
that's a
Kyle's
weird
here.
flex.
Like, cool.
That's just a weird flex to have. Oh.
Anyway, so somebody keeps asking about if we're hearing your guides and when it's just your thoughts. I think we want to do maybe some personal experiences with that, and then
Yeah. It's one of those things where if you're ever uncertain, just pick up a divination tool and double check. If you're ever like, was that me or was that you? Pick up your tarot deck and be like, hey, what was this? You know? And would wipe the floor in knowledge of that in physics. I have 79 spirits in person.
Alright, I didn't
So,
want to
like,
say
This
this.
sounds like a
because- hold on.
deranged person.
Pause.
You're doing
I didn't want to say
magic,
this
but you're
because I
against
didn't
the
really
word
want
witch?
to bully this person, but this is a person who like thinks that they have some special dragon mark, and then they zoomed in on a fucking like freckle on their arm. So please, sir, like take that bullshit the fuck out of my chat. Thank you.
Is that what that like weird grainy picture of theirs is?
Yes, it's his dragon mark, which is literally just a freckle. So, I'm sorry, I hate to be rude, but, like, don't come in here with the, like, my sorcery
Oh,
dick is bigger
sweetheart.
than yours when it's all fucking Wattpad fanatics. Like, stop.
How would you claim to be
also
doing magic, but you're against the word witch? I just don't even
It's
understand.
funny.
was Jesus a bisexual?
Probs.
If we're gonna go based on the Hebrew innuendo for washing feet, yes.
Yeah.
Fuck. Sorry about my tape.
I apologize.
What's the
I
difference
can't
between-
speak over other cultures though.
Okay, but like Dragon High Priest, my favorite thing
God.
here is if you go to Dr. Google here, your best friend, and you Google define sorcery, it says the use of magic, especially black magic, which is evil magic, which is not what the term we use left hand path.
Right.
But you're claiming witches are evil, but you're doing the more evil thing. So girly
I
pop.
blocked him because, I'm sorry, cringe as fuck. Like, super fucking
Girly
seducing
pop.
thing to be like, I can't
Also,
say-
I
this
want
is
to
my
take
thing.
us a moment to say that
See
the
me.
difference between white magic and black magic is rooted in racism and anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's why when I read Google's definition, but I corrected it. Because,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes you gotta correct Google because Google's not always right. Case in point. Wow.
But, like, I feel like this makes me, like, a big asshole on Witch Talk especially, but, like...
that's a really cool thesis, by the way. Okay, sorry.
A lot of people are so fucking cringe on this app. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit, you are not in a fucking anime. Like, stop being stupid. Take your vitamins, go to bed. Like, I don't want to hear it.
I love that audio that's like, you are a regular ass civilian.
Yeah.
Act
Act like
it.
it.
That was for Dependas. That was one of my favorite fucking things ever. It was so good.
Mhm.
I used to quote that to my children sometimes just to make me feel better.
You are a regular ass citizen.
Just act like it.
Oh, God.
Let's
So it's
see.
fun to make up little music videos in your head of being super cool, but, like, we keep those up here. We don't tell people about them.
Yeah. Some thoughts are inside thoughts, you know?
This
Inside.
reminds me of the coven I tried to start in my middle school years.
Like, I'm not trying to take psychic damage from this fucking cringe right now, please.
Also, who wants to take how did Lucifer become associated with dragons? Because that's some really cool lore.
Doesn't Judaism have a lot of really cool folklore around dragons as it is? I don't know any of it, but I've heard of
See,
it.
Let me go find my notes.
I wish we could get like Aziel in one of these. I feel like she would know.
Yeah, oh my god, I gotta ask her sometime. She's in France right now, which is super fucking cool. But what was I saying? You know what else? No, hold on. Where was I? Oh yeah, I know. I saw a tweet from Jewitches that was so funny, where like the tweet was like, "Are you angry at a god you don't believe in?" And it was retweeted with like, "Yes, 1000%. See you on Yom Kippur." It's like, shut the fuck up.
So the red dragon in Revelation talks about essentially the one that's coming to destroy the world, and the reason why it's doing that is because it is inserted that that Hasatan is Lucifer in there, because it says that the Hasatan is the dragon, and therefore it is insinuated that it is Lucifer itself. Now, if we want to get super like specific, we're talking about how it refers back in Revelation. It's either 10 or 12, and I cannot remember right now. But it even like ruffles it back into Ezekiel and Isaiah, where it talks about the dragon coming to destroy the earth. And because of that, they're like, oh, Hasatan, who is the red dragon, is obviously Lucifer, the morning light. And so it's insinuation, but I mean, you could also say that in that case, then who Zeus fought was also going to be Lucifer. You know what I'm saying? It's just that there's got to be a big bad guy for God to overcome.
Yeah. There's always some character playing that role.
What else
is
there?
Part of our downfall. I feel like part of our downfall as humans is that we always need to externalize things onto some big bad when it's like, no, guys, the big bad is your own actions. But we're not
Cough,
ready for that
Loki.
conversation yet.
The thing with Loki, though, is that yes, he dies, but so does like the main god. Everyone fucking dies in Norse myth.
Can someone explain to me how Ragnarok works? Because I've heard it works like in cycles.
Okay.
And I don't get
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, I got this.
So basically, there's two different streams of beliefs. There are some people who believe that Ragnarok has not happened yet, and it will happen, and it's going to be a one-time thing, and it's going to be the end of all things, because every religion has an end of the world story, and that is Norse mythology. Whereas other people believe that Ragnarok is cyclical, that it has happened before and it will happen again, and it is representative of basically like going through worldly tower moments. Like COVID literally shook the whole planet.
Yeah.
You know, and I know you have those things like once every couple hundred years, but in our small human lifetimes, that's a once in a lifetime thing. It's totally a Ragnarok. It like changed how we look at so many things across the entire planet. It wasn't the end of the world, but it was probably the end of quite a few things and the beginning of a lot of other new things. So some people believe that those like uber significant worldly events are like Ragnaroks, if that makes sense.
I think other things, yeah, and like 9/11 too. Like,
yeah,
I don't know a world before 9/11. My parents do, and they act like it's a completely different world. So it's like,
yeah,
okay,
Yeah.
It was something happened in the 70s. My brain's blanking. I'm having a Dell Cloud moment.
It was a lot less security focused in our world. Before, I mean, like, obviously I was born in 97, so I wasn't around for a long time before 9/11, but like being a New Yorker, like it's something that we're ingrained in it's ingrained in us to like know the differences before and after 9/11. But like that was a big thing. But like something that not a lot of people talk about is like how hard it was after 9/11 to be a Middle Eastern person in this country. Like I look white and I pass as white. You know, you could only tell Middle Eastern probably maybe a little with my nose and the thickness of my hair kind of thing. But I used to get called a terrorist all the time in school. Because like after 9/11, we were all taught that all Middle Eastern people, all like Muslim people were terrorists, and we're just gonna like continue that, rhetoric. And it drove a lot of I think a lot of like the white nationalism and the white like terrorism, the homegrown terrorism we see today is rooted a lot in like 9/11 theology that people grew up with.
Yep.
So that's like, I know that's so random, but like,
No, hey, the idea of like dismantling that kind of rhetoric and racism and anti-Semitism and white supremacy, like all of that is entangled in witchcraft and paganism too. So it's definitely still important that you bring it up.
And it always has been. It's always been an us versus them
yeah.
kind of mindset. It's always been, we've got to find somebody else to point the finger at so we can keep doing what we're doing and blame someone else.
Mhm. Oh yeah, and I mean, like, I like still here on TikTok, I get in within the witchcraft community, I get a lot of, well, I'm not gonna say a lot, but a good amount of racism in the sense of like, because I openly wear evil eyes and I talk about having talismans in my home and stuff like that, and I get a lot of comments like, "You're a Christian, that's a closed practice. You're like, that's not from the part of the world you're from," and I'm like, "Bitch, I'm Palestinian. Like, that's in Palestine is where the first talismans were found. Like, shut up." Just because I look white, that doesn't mean like. That's a whole other tangent I could go on. I get so offended when people call me like white. Like, yes, I'm half Italian, I'm half white, but no, I'm Middle Eastern. And I'm like the little like shit when it says like, what's your race? I put other and I put Middle Eastern because we're not Caucasian. Like, fuck that. Like, it really, that's like, could go off on that for a while. Anyway,
like, I just feel like
as I
people
play
should
with
be
my
able to
evil
tell
eye.
with the Lina El Sayali. Like that part's kind of like
Lee's my husband's last name, which is, that's more Scandinavian. His family's Swedish. But Elsaya, you either gonna think I'm Spanish, Middle Eastern, or Jewish. Like, there's one of the three. That's it.
I thought it was a Spanish Italian blended last name.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm just like,
See,
yeah, it was.
it's one of the three. There's no other places you could think that last name is from.
Yeah. But all of that to say,
You can
Ragnarok
wear an
is
evil eye.
big
Evil eyes are
event.
open practice. Anybody who tells you an evil eye is a closed practice does not know what the evil eye is or what it means.
Correct.
Or
If you are
in
worried
Greek
about
cultures use it. Like, multiple different cultures use it. There are white cultures that use it, Middle Eastern cultures that use it.
I have a question, legitimate question, just because I'm stupid. Is the Hamsa, or whatever it's called, is that closed?
No, the Hamsa, this guy, she's not closed. It's just another symbolism for the evil eye. This again is found in many different cultures. I'm pretty sure you can find the Hasma in Greek cultures as well, which is a white culture. So they have them in Italian cultures. So,
I mean, I've seen Mary Magdalene works with the Hamsa in it, with the Hamsa with the rose.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. But also, like, I mean, if anyone knows the term malokio, that literally means
Evil eye.
and like in Slovenian, right next door, mal oche is the same thing. It means evil
Yep.
eye. Like,
it's something that like kind of like it might have started in the Middle East, but it was definitely like and like Middle Eastern people like, and I can't really like speak that much on it because my dad actually grew up in Haiti, so I grew up a lot more with Haitian culture than I did with Middle Eastern. Like, I grew up with like a lot of Creole in my home and Creole food and all of that stuff. But from like my understanding of like the Palestinian culture and like Middle Eastern culture in general, we are not people who necessarily hold a lot of closed practices. We kind of like to teach. There's obviously things that are like, passed down from family to family, and that happens in any culture. Like, I'm sure that there's certain family recipes that Sarah's been passed down that she doesn't share on the internet, or like, there's just, certain recipes that Mimi has from her Appalachian, background that she doesn't share. Every culture has that kind of thing, but Middle Eastern culture tends to be really open, and it's also so broad because even though there's variations between like, Lebanese people and Iranian people and Iraqis, like, you'll find that different variation, but for the most part, we all have like the same foods, falafel to, oh my God, I'm gonna blank on the name of the foods, like the dalamas, like all of those are like the same things. They just have a little bit of variation throughout them when you go to different countries. So it's very much a shared practice in a shared land, which I know sounds ironic considering the state of the Middle East, but that's kind of how. And I
No,
mean, like
honestly,
real.
that's why it's funny because they argue so much. I invented this. No, I didn't. It's like,
No,
bitch,
it
it's
all
all
came
good.
from the
It's
same
delicious.
place. All came from the same place. That's kind of how it worked. I mean, but like if you look at the Bible and in the beginning, you know, in Genesis when um I forgot Abraham's, but like his child with Sarah, what his name was. But if you look at the rivalry between Ishmael's people and his people, it's like really mirrors the rivalry between like the what happens in the Middle East, like you know the Middle Eastern people and the Jewish people. It's like very interesting to study. Who is Abraham's son?
Esau and Isaac.
There you go. Oh my God. No. Ishmael is one of Abraham's. He was had with Hagar.
Father Abraham had many sons.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Who was it? The first one.
Isaac?
Yeah, wasn't it Isaac, the one with Sarah?
I think so, yeah. The miracle.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah,
That
And then
almost
you'll
I'm
see
got
sorry, I
Jacob.
forgot the name. See, because
Yeah,
I'm
just kill
Middle
them, and
Eastern, I
Ezekiel
remember
would be like, oh,
Ishmael.
shit. That's the funniest thing. Okay, did you guys see that video where like someone animated, where it's like, hold on, cuz, with like Zadkiel being like, oh fuck, and like running down the stairs to stop Abraham from killing Isaac.
that's right, because Isaac had Esau and Jacob. That's what it was.
Yeah.
The hairy arms and the stew.
Yeah, with the and Rebecca and that whole
I
thing.
gave up my birthright to you, and now everybody fights over everything.
Yep.
I'm always
So
interested
that's that.
in why Jacob wasn't portrayed as like a little more fucked up for that, and like why Rachel wasn't portrayed a little more fucked up for that. Because like Esau was a good dude, he was a fine dude, and like they just fucked him over. So I don't know. Literally, I'm like, why was that like able to fly like that?
Mythology writers being like, look, we did the right thing. Ignore them. They're fine.
Yeah.
Well,
We eventually made it right.
I mean, usually it's like made obvious so that someone's being an asshole. Like it's made very obvious that Sarah's an asshole with the Hagar situation. It's made obvious that Lot is a big fucking dipshit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know.
Sorry. It's not
I
just
remember
a
my-
lot
okay.
of shit. Like, I'm sure Lot had great meaning, but his daughter.
Well, no, I mean, Lot's an asshole. Being like, oh, I don't know, don't hurt my guest, you can just have my daughters. Like,
Have my
you're supposed to.
daughters.
What are you doing? But I remember, like, my mom, who hasn't really read the Bible, she's like, I just love God. And I'm like, that's great, Mom. But, she's like, is this true? That, like, Lot's daughters, like, did this terrible thing? And I'm like, yeah.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of forgets about it.
Like,
The
everyone was
Bible
fucked.
is
Like, that's like an
very
everyone's an
rated
asshole situation.
NC-17.
I also feel like that could be applicable with Noah because there was like the whole thing with him in the tents and like whatever, and that's like so glossed over.
Yeah.
You know, it created a lot of harmful rhetoric, but it's so glossed over. And we don't see where Noah had this really human moment, which is like kind of upsetting, but you know, that's a story.
Get drunk
People
off the
keep
boat.
forgetting he
Which,
was an
okay,
alcoholic.
if the whole earth flooded and I was stranded on a boat floating through the world for 40 days and I didn't know what was going to happen and I'm full of like the boat's full of animals and all of their shit, literally, I would probably get shit-faced once I made it to land too.
Yeah. And how many like Jewish like ceremonies is like the point to get drunk? Because there's literally like Purim, you're supposed to get so fucking drunk you forget the dude's name in the story. Like
Fuck. I love him. I love
Purim,
it.
I want to celebrate Purim for that reason, but I'm not going to because it's a closed practice. But
I
anyway,
got so emotional
I
at the
have
first Passover.
I have
'cause,
celebrated Purim though
no, but,
with my
editor
friends.
is Jewish. Fuck. No, my editor is Jewish, and so he invited us over for Passover this year, and I was like 3 cups of wine deep, and I was like, oh my god, they got out of
Yeah.
It's like you go to like a Jewish like ceremony and they're like pouring wine for you and you're like, wow, I love this. Judaism is so much better. It's like it's just it's fucking great. I remember when I was a kid and we would do Purim at my like friend's house. All the adults were like so lost, and we didn't know it at the time, like because we were just kids. And then when we started realizing, we're like, oh my god, like they're just getting fucked up. Like it was great.
It is a huge celebration. It is a wonderful time.
We also did
Isn't it
like
also, like,
sukkah
Halloween too,
hopping.
in a way?
Oh
What?
yeah.
Oh, Sukkot, yeah. But, like, isn't Purim
Yeah.
also a little bit like Halloween and, like, they wear
Yes,
costumes and
yeah, because
stuff?
they dress up, and the point is to like I forgot the point, but it's like to basically like disguise yourself so that you're not like
Oh,
seen
yeah.
or whatever. But no, we would do. I forgot the holiday where we put up the sukkah. I think that might be Yom Kippur. I could be wrong though. But my friend when I grew up with my friend, we would go sukkah hopping, which is basically trick or treating on each house with a sukkah, and the adults would all take a drink at each different sukkah. So by the end of it, all the adults were sloshed. And it's just like, yo, what if like when you go trick or treating with your kids, each house gives you a glass of fucking wine? That would be so dope. Like that's how trick or treating should be done.
Oh my god.
I can you tell that I miss alcohol a little bit?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No.
very.
Yeah.
You do.
When you're
So bad.
it's actually Sukkot. You're sukkah hopping. You're during Sukkot. It's the end of the fall festivals.
Yeah. Oh, so okay. No, you're right.
No, you were right because you were sukkah hopping. That's what you're building is your sukkah.
Well, it's a yeah, and you go like bar hopping. You go from sukkah to sukkah to sukkah.
Yeah.
That's
fucking
yep.
fun. That's so good.
That's literally like what it was so much fun. Oh my gosh. And my Jewish friends, they gave me a Jewish name. I was Eliza, so I didn't like really like I wasn't so far out being Lina with this little Italian ass name. It was so fucking fun. That's like a core memory of mine doing that each year.
Aw.
Let's treat this person with a grain of salt. They're saying no hate, but they have a Confederate flag in their picture.
Oh my god, I just noticed that.
That's like an instant, like, negative 10. That's like an instant F minus. Is like having a fucking Confederate flag.
Why? That's like those are the people who like really just want confrontation.
This
And
reminds me of like when we
They
went to
just
North
want fucking
Carolina.
confrontation.
We went to North Carolina and we were reading the historical, like, the little plaques that they had, and Roman and I were like, you fuckers, because they were being really, like, sketchy about how they were calling their own soldiers, and I was like, shut the fuck up. We all know that you guys were traitor ass bitches, right? But they were
The
trying to
South
our
lost.
No. God, so I was like, North Carolina, shut the fuck up.
If we are talking about and no hate to come on about why it is.
I have it because it's my heritage. Oh my lord.
To remember,
You got
no.
You got Jesus as King as your name, and then you got a Confederate flag.
And then in the
like,
Confederate flag is a cross. It's like so upsetting. It's so upsetting.
I need to
that
like
aside.
bleach my eyes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like an eyeball
Your
wash
heritage
kind of
fucking
thing.
sucks. Sorry.
Excuse
Your heritage
the
of being
fuck
a
out of
slave
you,
owning
Miss
trader.
Sarah.
Yeah, that's
No,
meaning
like,
heritage, dude. You gotta chill.
No,
Okay,
Southern
well,
heritage
you
doesn't
were born in
suck.
Germany. I don't wanna hear
Confederate
it.
No,
heritage
Confederate
sucks.
was like
The Confederate.
Yeah, if you're there's a difference between Southern and Confederate. If you're saying my heritage is Confederate, you are proud of being a slave owning fucking disaster, a traitorous bitch. I don't want to hear that. Nope. No.
So the actual question, if you are going based on the King James version, even King James, who would hire witches himself, does not like this. So to make sure that no one else poisoned him,
that's so funny.
it was essentially transcribed from other languages as poisoner. Someone who is purposefully doing harm and using the gifts from God for harm.
I blocked him because oh hell yeah, I forgot that Kyle's a moderator, so Kyle's just out there like, nope, goodbye.
You
Walked
can
out.
go.
Out of the
Kyle.
building.
Thanks, Kyle.
That was just so dumb.
He did. He wrote a lot of things because he was just trying to keep power in pockets, and he really shouldn't have. I blame the syphilis there at the end for a lot of it.
You know, that's what a lot of scholars think happened to Saul in the Bible.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it.
I love that. Not that I love that, but like I love that. Like, let's be so real. That's fucking hilarious. Not like it's not funny, but it's funny. I'm sorry. This pregnancy took my filter away. I apologize. Don't mind me.
No,
He fell
Lina,
out
you
of
don't
favor
need
and
no
got
filters.
syphilis. That's what I'm gonna say from now on.
Lina,
It's
you
just
have an
like
excuse. I don't know where my filter went. It just fucking disappeared. Like, it's
Yeah,
just
I
fun.
think like early on, like this baby saw Sarah not having a filter, and they were like, "Wow, I want that." And then I just started being a bitch all the time. So I'm gonna blame Sarah for that one.
Miss
Aw,
Lina, I'm
hey.
just saying that it is
You're my
probably because
service.
they are a Pisces.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably. I wasn't even this, nitpicky with my Virgo.
Yeah.
Jack is just like, "You're being a bitch because it's a girl. And it's gonna act like you would be a bitch." I'm like, "Thanks, honey. I love you."
Whoa.
damn
He's
fucking right.
allowed to do it. He's allowed to do
I
it because
know.
this man puts up with all.
Oh, I
You
know.
don't
If you listen, if
understand.
you are with your significant other for a long time and you can't like roast the shit out of each other, is it really that healthy of a
No, it's
relationship?
not. It's
Yeah.
not a healthy relationship. Like,
If you don't think
you know,
about killing the other one in their sleep at least once a week, is it really a loving relationship? Because it's like I woke up and chose for you to have life today. That's how much I love you.
That's how much I love you.
No,
yes, I
Roman and
saw
I.
the thing on Google. We were talking about it in the fandom chat. I still can't get it. I'm
Listen.
so mad. Anyway.
Roman and I have like we would call each
Meanwhile,
other bitch because that's like my family's term of endearment is bitch, but then we would warp it, so now we just call each other like borp and bipulum and like whatever the fuck else it
That's
is. So
great.
like,
he's so trusting he's asleep now.
No, my husband and I do the all day. We just flip each other off like that all day. Just,
My
you
boyfriend
know.
calls me Bud and Buddy.
No, that's
hell no,
unacceptable.
hell no.
No.
You
That's
hit him
where
with the
I
champ. You're doing
literally
great,
said to
champ.
Jack, we were in Dollar General one day and we saw this couple and the guy called the girl dude, and after they walked out of the store, I'm like, if you ever fucking call me dude, that's grounds for divorce. Or
See,
you can
like,
call me a
I'm okay
bitch,
with
you can
it.
call me the
Like,
C
I
word,
call
you can
him
call me
dude.
anything you want, but don't call me fucking dude.
I'm used to
Okay?
it by now, but it is funny when he's like leaving for work in the morning and he's like, "All right, I'm heading out. Love you, buddy."
Let me
It's
wait.
like,
Like,
what are you,
oh
like
shit.
a kid, dog? Like that's like
I
no.
Yeah, you're like
call
a
him
golden
Buddy too,
retriever.
though.
No, no,
You
no,
gotta call.
that's
You gotta
the
hit him
whole
with the
thing.
champ. You gotta be like, you're doing great, champ. And
You're doing great, champ. Oh my god.
Great job today,
uh,
sport.
fucking goddamn. But all right, hold on. Let me look at these questions because I've been like squirreling away at my books over here.
Proud of you for still working.
I'll be here all night. Oh, we got a spat here with Kyle and Phoenix back there.
Oh no.
But ah shit. All right, so now I gotta go fucking sign like 80 billion more books before I can keep going. So at least the tape will get a break for now. Ow! Oh god, my knees.
Are you okay, Sarah?
No, the boxes are so heavy. Each book is like 2 pounds.
Tell Michael
Why
to make you this harder.
do you live in Rhode Island? We would all fucking help you if you weren't so fucking far away.
Well, technically,
That's
Sarah's
still
not that far away from me. She's only like 3 hours, so
I mean, that sounds like a long time to my
that's
ass,
not
but
that far. What is up with people who think that's far? I I've driven like 5, 6 hours in a day just to drive around New York State. So
there's only 24 hours in a day. Like,
okay,
I
you
wish
spend
that was
5 or 6 of them driving. Next,
hell no.
No,
heck
I think
yeah.
because to get from Dahlonega back down to Savannah was about 9. And then
Hell no.
to get from where I am in central Wisconsin to get across to where my daughter wants to go to college right on the border by Minnesota, that was about 3.5. So if I want to go to like Madison, that's 2.5. If I want to go to Green Bay, that's 2.5. If I want to go up north to Canada, that's 3.5. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a
I
choice.
can cross my entire state the long way in an hour.
I know.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, well, so when I was in college, I would count. So Kenny graduated a year before I did, so he was here in Indianapolis a year before I was. And every weekend, my senior year of college, I would drive 2.5 hours to his apartment to spend the weekend with him, and then drive the 2.5 hours back to
but you were
school.
spending the weekend. You know, like
Yeah,
you were
yeah,
staying.
that's not that bad.
I'm
No,
just,
I
I do that.
I don't know.
You know,
My
drive down
state's
from
huge, so
Louisville
I just drive all around.
and then there's Texas.
and then
Texas
there's
is difficult.
Texas.
I have not. I've driven through so much of New York, but I still haven't like touched like a solid like 80% of it because Western and Northern are so it takes like maybe like 12, 13 hours minimum to get through the entire state.
Yeah.
Now,
It's a bigger state than people think it is.
Now,
This is why
Georgia
I'm never
is the
leaving Rhode
biggest.
Island. I'm never leaving this place. This place is perfect.
But
I'm leaving New York. I want to be out of here. I'm done.
you gonna go to
Come to Rhode
Pennsylvania?
Island.
I'm
We
going
love Rhode
Pennsylvania.
Island.
Yeah, no, Pennsylvania. They're actually making
Pennsylvania.
changes.
I like Pennsylvania. Well, not for nothing. I've gone to Pennsylvania like 4 times this year for just like different things because I'd rather do activities there. So I'm out. I'm going to T Swift's home state. That's where I'm moving
Listen,
one of these days
the
after I
edges
have
of
this baby.
Appalachia are in Pennsylvania, you know.
The what?
The edges of Appalachia are in Pennsylvania.
Isn't there Appalachian Mountains in New York?
It's all the way up to Maine.
Because I was going to say, because I live 20 minutes away from the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah.
So
It's all the way up to Maine. It's sprinkled through all the northern states. But no, when I went to go and visit my husband's family, because they're all from outside of Hartford, the only thing that stopped us from being there in 15 minutes from the time we hit the state line to his family, almost on the other side of the state, was the traffic. It was like 40 miles. We should have been there in under an hour across the state of Connecticut.
yeah. Yeah, that happened to
always
Jack and
fucked
I.
up.
The last time we were driving through Connecticut, when we saw the Jonas Brothers, we saw them in at the Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut, and like it was supposed to be a 2-hour drive. It ended up being like 3.5 hours because of how much traffic there was. I was so scared we were gonna miss them opening. I was gonna be so upset. Anyway, it ended up being kind of like a Buns concert because the girls around us sucked, so I bought tickets for a second date.
What was that side eye for there, Sarah, when I was talking about Connecticut?
You know why? Because fuck Connecticut. These guys like don't know how to drive. Like dead ass. We were coming back from
No.
North Carolina and we got
Connecticut's
stuck in
fine.
3 separate accidents. No, 3 separate accidents in this fucking dumbass state. I was like, what are you guys doing? Holy shit.
Have
I
you
can't
ever
believe
driven
accidents on
through
the same road.
Jersey? No, Connecticut's fine.
Jersey?
Have you ever driven through
Just
Jersey?
God, listen.
Jersey made me
Fair.
smoke a whole pack of cigarettes when I still smoked.
Jersey?
No.
Oh
that's
my
fair.
God.
Alright, fine, you got me there.
No. Connecticut
This is where
drivers
I
are
go
fine.
when I really like stopped caring about my well-being is fucking Jersey.
New Jersey drivers suck, and New York City drivers.
Oh.
They scary.
Okay. Lina, as a New Yorker, explain this to me. I've witnessed this phenomenon where New Yorkers will drive 9 billion miles an hour up to your fucking exhaust pipe. But if there's no one on the road, they are driving under the speed limit.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah. No, well, there's also the people who decide that because you're behind them and it's a 1-lane road, they want to go 10 miles under the fucking speed limit. It's like, oh my God. And I'm sitting here in my little like rinky-dink fucking 2001 Ford zooming past them. Like,
oh my God. Massachusetts is also terrible. We call them massholes for a reason. I see them all the time. They're always driving so fast.
Massachusetts.
Now, everyone's muffler. And I'm like,
they're bad.
Baby, please.
They're bad. When I went to Salem, I drove the whole time because I was not letting any other fucking person behind the wheel because I'm like, I'm the only one with real city experience here. I learned how to drive in the Bronx. Okay, so I'm the only one who knows how to drive here. Boston drivers, holy, comparable to New Jersey. Holy shit, I was dying. I think though my favorite part about being in Massachusetts was, like I say Boston, like I have a New York accent, right? And this woman, she was a Massachusetts woman. She's like, it's not Boston, it's Boston, it's Boston. And she's like talking about how she's wearing her Carhartts, and I'm like, girl, you just called it a Carhartt. It's a Carhartt. Like, you can't judge me for my Boston if that's how you're gonna say Carhartt. Like, stop.
Now, I know Blue will agree with this one. There are like 4 different accents in Kentucky because I've driven from Paducah to Litchfield through the mountains, and it's like 4 different countries in that damn state.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Well, I mean, not for nothing. So I learned that upstate New Yorkers, like people in Dutchess and up counties, actually have a Southern accent. Like it's a natural thing up here.
There's lots of Southern accents in Indiana too, and I don't understand. Like, you are from Terre Haute. Why are you talking this?
Like, you're literally from, like, you're literally almost touching the fucking ocean here. Why are you, like...
Yeah.
I know this answer.
What is the answer, Mew?
I can't tell what the Rhode Island accent is. I don't even know what it is.
So the further you get away from the concentrated cities, the more you have the influx of people who were coming to the bigger cities and couldn't find a place to stay. So you got the southern accent that's basically trailed its way all the way out. I'd even say all the way to Arizona. I've heard it.
Yeah.
So as people have moved around, they brought it with them. Well, my children speak with a southern accent.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like, it just, even though it is slow, you know, in little bits. Also, if we want to go all the way down through, I do believe Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, and half of Tennessee were the last ones to sign yes or no in the Civil War, and therefore a lot of it is still, even though it's Midwest, it is still rather southern in a lot of the more rural areas.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just really funny.
I'm really enjoying the body doubling, but I think maybe it's time to pack it in because it's almost 10. We went like a half hour over just talking about why mass holes are a pain in the ass. Also, although I will say this, you know you're in Rhode Island when all of a sudden you go from driving smooth to because our roads are absolutely horrible. The worst.
Husband going, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, Rhode Island roads are like, what the hell, Badlands, like the fucking Fallout New Vegas is this?
Is that why you have no trouble driving out here?
Yeah, this is easy.
Oh, okay, because Wisconsin's got shit for roads forever because of the ice breaking it every year, so he's just like, this road's fine.
Guys,
No,
when
Rhode Island just likes to...
my boyfriend busted 3 tires in 1 month because of the potholes that we have out here. He just kept
he would
hitting
never
them.
drive out here.
It's terrible.
You gotta learn how to like drive drunk
You
in
gotta
Rhode
do
Island
the-
because there's so many potholes.
Yep. My favorite is when they fix it and then 2 days later it's back.
Yeah, because all they do is kind of patch it half-assedly and then it just...
Well, and
put
so
gravel in it.
we're right by Carmel, Indiana, which I shit you not is the roundabout capital of the United States.
Yes,
But
it is.
even though we're not in Carmel, we're right by it, so we still get a little bit of roundabouts like trailing in. So you're trying to like do a roundabout and not hit the person next to you and swerve the pothole.
It's like playing
That
Crash
sounds like a
Bandicoot,
lot. I hate roundabouts.
Oh, shit. But, alright. I would love to stay here and chat, but I'm sure we all gotta like go to bed or do something.
It's about 10 o'clock.
Here.
Yep.
So,
It's about bedtime.
But otherwise, it was good talking with you all. It was good. It was good playing with the trolls. That was fun.
Everyone get Sarah's book tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Carmel.
On Amazon, where like I don't have to pack it myself. But yeah, alright, so wait, before we go, we gotta go around and tell everyone where we're coming from, where you can find us, what's going on. So, to start, I am me. I am Sarah Strayson. I am the one who gets absolutely wrecked talking to a bunch of different spirits every week. It's a lot of fun, and that's what this book that I'm packing right now is all about. So, if you guys want to check that out, it is at the link in my bio, so it's quite literally everything else I could possibly offer. I have a blog, I got a YouTube, Patreon, all kinds of stuff. So enjoy that, treat it like you're a kid in a candy store, and have a good time. How about you, Hannah?
My name's Hannah. I have a shop full of stuff like oils and candles, and those will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I make videos about Christian witchcraft, crystal paganism, and occasionally my cats. All of my shit is in the link in my bio too. That's where you can find all my other social media pages, but I just scream about bands on Twitter. So if you'd like to see that side of me and see fucking Chris Motionless lurking on my tweets and responding to shit that I don't tag him in, but for some reason he just sees, that's on Twitter. I rarely post on Instagram, but it's there if you want like the extra, whatever. I have like half a video edited from my YouTube channel. It'll get up when it gets up. Patreon, and a Discord server for the patrons. All in the link in my bio. Yes.
Mimi, your turn.
All right. Hi, Mimi. I have a whole bunch of fun things that are still a work in progress because I have 4 children that I'm homeschooling. I am an Appalachian folk witch, so all of my stuff is about being folk witchy, granny witchy, make and do, homeschooling, witchy homeschooling, and ADHD and autism stuff. We have a lot of things in my link. Basically, if you just Google Feral Southern Housewife, you will find me on my blog and on YouTube and all that fun stuff. So come find me and say hi.
Alright.
So,
Oh, never mind.
me.
Sorry. Holy shit. Lina?
It's Sarah!
I'm sorry,
Rude.
Lina. I thought we were... I lost count.
It's okay. It's the pregnancy brain rubbed off on you for a minute. It's okay. So I'm Lina. I have a podcast called the Jesus Witch Podcast. And on here I post like witchy things, day in the life, stuff like that. I do like a lot of like random witchy stuff throughout the day. And then I have a free Discord group in the link in my bio. It's just like the Jesus Witch Church. It's a community of a lot of people. We do fun things in there. I have to schedule the Mabon circle, but we'll do like a circle for Mabon and stuff like that. I have Patreon, all that good stuff. But yeah, just click the link in my bio. You'll find it all. And then I have Instagram. And
Also,
yeah.
this will be on Sarah's YouTube channel. Maybe not tomorrow because tomorrow's book day, but eventually it will be on her YouTube channel.
When she gets to it.
Your YouTube
Honestly,
tomorrow, I'm going to come over there and I'm going to whack you with my shoe because you've also still got to do your shoe outline.
This week it will be.
It'll be, yeah,
Maybe
at some
this
point
weekend,
when
but
she has time, it'll be up. But that's
at
that.
some point. But you can
Tomorrow
go
I'll
watch
probably-
the
you know
past ones that we've done on her YouTube
Yeah, they
channel.
are up there.
The
Honestly, I may
purity
just end up...
one has
If
a
I
big
go live...
disclaimer, though.
If I go live tomorrow, it's gonna be with a fucking drink in my hand because these boxes have gotten the fuck out of my
You
house.
deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But, alright, with that, good night, guys. It was good chatting with you. It was good seeing
good
everyone.
night.
See you next time.
Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Everyone.